Hey everybody, welcome to the Sem Says podcast, the podcast where seminarians say what's said at the Sem. I'm your host, Alex Brown.
I'm Nikolai Berlinski.
And I'm Drew Tangway.
Hey, welcome back everybody. It's been a hot minute since we've had an episode up, but we're excited to share this one with you.
Yes, thanks for sticking around after our long hiatus. It's just been a whirlwind of things at the seminary after Easter. What are you laughing at?
You said whirlwind.
Whirlwind? Things at the seminary.
A great ruah stirred over the waters. And God said, let there be light.
All right. Well, anyway.
We've had a lot of things going on at the seminary after Easter. We have finals coming up, our traditions at the end of the year. We're just winding down here. So, unfortunately, we haven't had an opportunity to make our regularly scheduled podcast episodes. Nevertheless, we appreciate you coming back to join us. And if you're a new listener, welcome. It's never too late to join.
Absolutely. So this week, we're going to be talking about what we're looking forward to this summer. So those of us who are in theology now often get summer assignments, but that kind of gets woven in with what we would do with a couple weeks off. Between going back to school in the seminary, kind of things we keep up with in our prayer life, what do we do around our diocese, and how do we get ready for a new school year without just being burned out?
So one of the questions we often get as seminarians is, gee, wow, they actually let you out? Has anyone asked you that? Has anyone ever asked you that?
Like ironically.
Nah, I've gotten that in complete earnest. Like, people have been surprised when I admit that I do normal things. So, Drew is nodding along?
I get that. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what people really expect when we tell them we're a seminarian. I guess they have this idea of, like, 12th century monastery, friar tuck sort of, monastic life. So, so anyone who's had that doubt in the past, we're allowed out. We are allowed to go and live normal lives, normal summer lives, at least for a time. So when school lets out, we'll have our finals, our baccalaureate mass, our graduation, we call it concourses here, and then it's a couple of weeks off just to sort of do summer fun things. Go to the shore if you're into that sort of thing. If you like going to the beach,
Most people do.
Go to the beach.
You want to wear jeans there? No one's going to judge you.
Some people may.
Some people may. So beach, that's not hiking, camping.
Yep.
Well, what are some fun things we'll do in our weeks off?
Yeah, usually I'll spend time with my family, of course, and get to see some friends and catch up with them. But we usually like to go on either a beach trip or a camping trip as a family, and might go as a group with friends as well.
Personally, I just read a lot, so I spend my weeks after the seminary just regrouping from all the excitement and hubbub that's in the seminary. I'm a bit of an introvert, so I take that time to just relax, orient myself.
Yeah. Drew, what do you look forward to?
Well, for Harrisburg, we usually start the summer. The first week that we're out of seminary, we go on visits to all of the elementary schools in the diocese. So we go in groups of like 3 or 4, and we go and just kind of give vocation stories and talk with the kids. So that's always a good time. And it's an excuse to just kind of hang around with all of the other Harrisburg seminarians. Not all of us go to St. Charles. Some of us go to Mount St. Mary's in Emmitsburg, Maryland. So it's good to kind of see all those other guys that we don't get to see as frequently. And then, so that'll be 2 days, and then we'll get ready for summer assignments and head out to our parishes.
Gotcha.
That sounds pretty nice. I recognized only recently that we get out of school a little bit earlier than other schools, other colleges and the parochial schools. I made the mistake of asking the young kids, my last apostolate, are you guys ready for summer? And they were like, we have 2 months left. And I was like, yank. Which is a seminary way of saying, wow, that's very unfortunate, and I feel bad for having brought it up.
Yeah, because then they start getting very upset because they feel like they deserve summer now.
Yeah.
We also start earlier than they do, so,
It's
there's
6,
that.
Yeah, 6 of one, half dozen of another.
Yeah.
And don't get a spring break.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah. Our spring break is serving the Triduum. So it's nice, but it's not, we don't go to the beach and get wasted or anything.
Rats.
Yank.
I guess actually we shouldn't skip over this. An important part of the beginning of summer is ordinations, which is kind of a super important thing. So I don't usually consider that as like a part of my summer, but it really is, where right before or maybe during the time that we're in parish assignments, we have the priest ordinations for our diocese. So that'll be exciting to attend this year, especially that somebody who, not just somebody, but a handful of guys who I've been in seminary with this past year are getting ordained to be priests, and it'll be really exciting to be there for them and cheer them on as they become priests of the church.
Mm-hmm.
It's really crazy this year. This is actually my first year where the people getting ordained for Harrisburg and for the other dioceses are people who, when I entered seminary, they were kind of like on the same level as me. I entered coming out of high school, and so I was in college. And so the guys getting ordained now were in fourth college when I was in first college.
Right.
And so it's not like the guys who are like, oh, they're in theology, like they're almost deacons.
Right.
It's like the guys who I feel a lot more like, even though I didn't enter with them, like at the same time as them, it's still, they feel much closer to me. And so I was able to get to know them a lot better too.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I've been reflecting in my own life how much I long for or desire some sort of catalyst moment in my formation, because as we've been trying to stress here since we started this podcast, sort of the thesis of this podcast is that by and large, what seminarians do at the seminary is just go to school. It's just like regular student life. There's some extra benefits, some extra graces, a unique charism, but really it's a school year. You start in August, end in May, finals, papers, the whole 9 yards, dorm life, et cetera, et cetera. So, you spend 8 years here just doing student things, and 1 year is just going to end with you being a deacon and being ordained a priest. So I'm ending my formation here, and I'm sort of, it doesn't feel any different to finish this year and to finish the next year. So I'm looking forward to a catalyst or something like monumentous to mark my progress here. And I think that ordinations will sort of be that for me. It won't be, it won't be out of the ordinary, because you say we start every summer like that. We see the deacons get ordained, but like what you're saying, Drew, it's becoming a little bit more real as you get closer to it. You're able to recognize the humanity of the people getting ordained more and more as you progress.
It's also really crazy to think about, because I've realized that, speaking of summer assignments and ordinations, I myself only have 2 more summer assignments before I'll be a deacon, which is really kind of overwhelming to think about. But it motivates me to get the most I can out of these 2 years in parish life and really learning everything that I can.
Yeah. I sing of that because I don't have any more summer assignments or become a deacon.
Yeah. How about we clarify a little bit too? We're saying summer assignments and assume that people probably know what that is, but somebody might not. Just to kick that off, when we say a summer assignment, usually our diocese, the bishop and vocation director, etc., give us an assignment for the summer. So they'll say, you'll work in this parish. You'll go to the Institute for Priestly Formation in Nebraska. You might study Spanish somewhere. So give me an example. Have you had a summer assignment yet? What was that like?
Yeah, so last year was my first summer assignment. I was assigned to St. Aloysius Parish in Littlestown, which is down near like Gettysburg and Hanover, that sort of area. And that was just a really great experience it was definitely limited in how much I could do because of that was kind of at the height of the coronavirus pandemic. But it was still a very great opportunity to get to know the priest there, Father Miller. And I was able to meet a couple parishioners and just sort of help out where I could, did a lot of cleaning around and served at Mass. I also served at quite a few graveside funerals.
Wow.
So it was just a very good experience, kind of seeing a little bit more of what it's like to live in a parish and just kind of seeing what normal is when you live in a rectory.
By and large, the summer assignment program is like a apprentice program, or I guess modernly called a shadow program, where the priest will sort of take you under his wing and say, this is what being a priest is like, and this is what it's like to be a priest in your off hours. And it's very insightful to see a priest just finish his dinner and do what he does in the evening, because you never see that before entering seminary. And it gives you a better glimpse into what life is like real life as a priest. Yeah, it's pretty cool to step into the role of the priest. Like you're saying, there's a limit to what we can do because we're not clerics, but communion calls, you can't administer the sacraments, but it's still entering into that environment, that interpersonal relationship like a priest would. Graveside services, a seminarian could do that. My pastor was pretty good about saying, we're going to a meeting like for couple counseling or grief counseling, of course, with the layperson's permission. Of course, he would say, can I bring a seminary along just to see what's going on? And I'd sit in the corner and kind of listen to see the dialogue between the two people. Yeah, it's very insightful, the whole summer assignment program.
Yeah. For me, this will be my first official assignment to a parish. So I've lived in rectories a couple of different times before, and I've worked as a DRE separately from an assignment, but this will be my first time, like, for the summer, like, here's a parish that you don't get to pick. You have to go there and live there and work there. And so I'm excited for it, because that'll be a little bit of a different insight than just being, like, a guest who lives in the rectory and does classes on Zoom. Yeah.
Good stuff. Nikolai, I think you also, previous summers, have gone to, you mentioned the Institute of Priestly Formation in Nebraska.
Yeah.
And I know, Alex, you're going there this summer. Nikolai, do you want to talk a bit about what that is, what that's like?
Yeah. So we shorten it to IPF, Institute for Priestly Formation. So it's kind of just this summer-long program. I think it's 2 months, maybe give or take a week. We go out to Omaha, Nebraska, and we live on a certain dorm hall in Creighton University. But it's kind of an intense spiritual formation time. So we take certain classes, attend liturgies every day, Mass, morning prayer, evening prayer, and then we'll have like big conferences. So a couple of different people, Father Tim Gallagher, I think, is an expert on the spiritual exercises of St. Ignatius. So he gives frequent conferences throughout the program. And then we get broken up into individual smaller classes. So it'll be like 25 of you get this priest as the teacher and that kind of a thing. And then we have, I think, an 8-day retreat that happens. So silent retreat for 8 days during this time. But we also get a lot of free time. So once the retreat's over, during this program, you end up with 5 hours of your afternoon are free. So you'll have Mass, morning prayer, and a class in the morning. You'll have lunch, and then, you're free until evening prayer. And then after evening prayer, you might be free. So a lot of guys would go and play sports together. You get to know guys from different seminaries all over the United States, maybe even a couple international guys. So I made friends from the West Coast, from Atlanta, Georgia, from Florida, instead of just Pennsylvania, North Carolina that I'm used to. So it's a nice program. Definitely a little less exciting than going to the beach, but it's important. You're getting formation even in the summer. You see, Omaha, Nebraska is landlocked.
Yeah, I get it. Thank God. Thank the Lord. How big is the campus? How easy is it to walk off campus?
To run away. Super easy.
Okay, cool. Cool.
Omaha, Nebraska.
We've got the only water for miles. Go ahead, start running. I won't shoot.
Oh, boy. You can never finish without a Holes reference.
It's the greatest movie. I want to go back and redo the movies episode because we didn't mention holes.
That's true.
So a sequel, Revenge of the Movies.
Okay, yeah, Omaha, Nebraska, it's a really nice city. So you can just walk. The college campus itself is pretty big comparatively, but you can walk right into the city. You can go and get dinner, get ice cream, go to a baseball game, anything like that, within walking distance. So, you'll need your GPS for sure because it's completely a foreign land, unless you're a native to Nebraska. But it's really nice and very walkable. Yeah.
Good to know. Unfortunately, those going to IPF will be missing our Quo Vadis days, which is the camp in the middle of the summer for youth discerning, a call to priesthood and religious life. So we usually do that in the middle of the summer. It's a ton of fun because we try to give young men a little glimpse of seminary life. At least in Allentown, we'll do like morning prayer, evening prayer, mass every day. Usually, I don't know if it's every day, but we'll do like holy hour, maybe some praise and worship here and there. And then conferences in the afternoon, just about what religious life is, what a call is, what vocation means. Sometimes we have a married couple come in. And then that's just a great time for the seminarians to bond and like hang out and shoot the breeze because it's like fun. It's summer. It's a summer camp, and we get to do fun summer camp things like play baseball and softball and kickball and that.
Yeah. Did you ever do Quo Vadis in Harrisburg?
Yeah, so Harrisburg has the same sort of thing. Like Alex said, we do mass, morning prayer, evening prayer, night prayer every day. And then, every day what we do is the idea is that the morning is dedicated to God. So we have morning prayer and mass, and then we have 2 hours where like half of the guys are doing a holy hour and the other half are like going to confessions or just doing like a prayer walk, something like that. And then they switch for the other hour and then go to lunch, and then the afternoon is just like hanging out, playing games, whatever. Yeah. Like you said, that's always a really great time. I always look forward to it.
After that, we'll usually go back to our assignments, finish up the odds and ends, finish up our assignments, and then we'll probably have 2 more weeks to unwind from all of the excitement that we experienced over the summer. Then it's back to the studies.
Yeah. It's definitely nice to have those breaks as well. I don't remember who said it, if it was Aristotle or something, but the importance of leisure. We don't have leisure, we don't relax so that we can work better, but we work so that we get time to relax, right?
Yeah, I think Father Spargowski said
that backwards. Yeah, because the importance of life is not just to slog through school, but also to enjoy it and to really grow from it. So we shouldn't just be in seminary and suffering and going like, I can't wait to get out of here for the summer. But it is good to look forward to that time where you can kick off your shoes and relax and really experience what God has given us at that point of good leisure, even if you're wearing jeans to the beach.
All right, listeners, is it odd to wear jeans to the beach? Answer our poll below.
I'm not putting a poll on this.
You don't have to. It's not weird.
All right.
But yeah, that's a really great point, Nikolai. The importance of taking the time to relax and enjoy yourself. That being said, do you guys have any kind of, beyond just like your plans for the summer, do you have kind of a goal set in mind that by the end of the summer, I want this?
Per usual, I have a reading list I want to finish. I have a writing list I want to finish. I wish I had something more exciting than that, than just the usual. I expect to take the retreats at IPF pretty seriously. So, there's some questions that I still have going forward into the ordination, which I want answered.
Yeah. My spiritual director recommended that I try to do some spiritual reading. I used to be a little better at it, and I've kind of fallen off with just reading for school, which we do a lot of scripture reading, that kind of a thing, but to focus on something specifically for my spiritual life. So I'm going to try to work on picking 2 good spiritual readings, do at least once per month, get through one of those. So that's a goal. I think another goal is to get to know the Diocese of Allentown a little bit better. So whether that means like making visits to different parishes that maybe I'm not assigned to and get to know the priests there, something like that, just so I can get a better lay of the land and get to know people who we'll be working with and serving with in the future.
What about ye?
Well, actually, it works out, Nikolai. I also have a reading list given to me by my spiritual director. He recommended that I look into different forms of spirituality and kind of experiment, see what works best for me, how I want to kind of go forward with my own mental prayer and kind of really make it my own. So I'm focusing on Carmelite and Franciscan spirituality, kind of get somewhat of a grasp on them by the end of the summer. And then I'd really like to kind of get a little bit more into Hebrew, pick that back up, because I learned a little bit of it, but it's pretty rusty at this point. So ideally, I'd like to do that. I know that that's not entirely likely to happen,
Yeah.
given my track record.
Yeah. I don't know if this will make it on the cast, but speaking of Carmelite, the Diocese of Allentown, there is a convent of cloistered Carmelites of the Ancient Observance, I believe. And for my apostolate one day, we went and visited with them just for a couple minutes and heard them chat. And I'd really like to go back and see if they'd allow me to just ask a few questions, maybe like write a couple things down. Because the nuns there, they're so holy and just like the way that only a nun can be. That a few of them, I think, entered the convent in the 50s. So they've been there like the majority of their life. And it's just amazing that they're so dedicated to our Lord. They've given their whole lives to him in an awesome way that I hope to aspire to.
Well, maybe after the edification of the summer, you'll be a little bit closer.
Yeah.
All things being equal.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's not quite summer yet, so we still have a little bit more work to do. I think the seminarians present are going to go back to studying for their finals.
Mm-hmm.
So please wish us luck, pray for us, and we'll offer up at least a little bit of the suffering for you.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for listening. Once again, I'm Alex.
I'm Nikolai.
And I'm Drew.
And this has been what the seminarians do on their summer vacations.
Have a nice summer.